I'm Michelle Graves, your host on today's segment of The Power of Money. I'm glad to have you here. Now, at The Power of Money, we are interested in three things happening. First, we want you to get the necessary education so that you and your family can make the decisions that will impact positively on you in your financial life. The second thing is that you be empowered to prosper. I only want the best for you. And you can only get that if you have education and then the drive to make it happen. And the third thing that is so important to me is that you recognize that life is more than a journey and that you be energized so that you can begin to participate in the truly joyous experience of living. So, here's to empowerment, here's to education, and here's to energy. I'm Michelle Graves, your host, Power of Money, and here we go. And here we go on today's segment of The Power of Money. Again, I'm your host, Michelle Graves, and since 1982, I've been doing this television show, and I'm delighted to say that over the past 7 years, I have been blessed to be in the city of Dayton, Ohio at DATV, where the show is produced on and airs throughout this region in a number of markets, as well as on YouTube. You can always reach the show, The Power of Money with Michelle Graves, and see any of the back episodes. I think to date we have over 270 shows. So whatever your subject matter interest, I'm sure you'll find it covered on this show. I've talked to so many amazing people over the years, and I'm pleased to say that I have one of my early guests back on doing a revisit. I called him because he is such a dynamic and amazing man. If you think getting older is for sissies, as Betty Davis would have said, you got the wrong guy, because Jack Jackson is nobody's joke. And I love his energy, I love his spirit, and I love his testimony, where he's been, where he is, and where he is going. So today I'm going to be talking for the next hour to Jack Jackson and about his story, his life, and sharing with us some of the challenges of getting older. Which, if you live long enough, you're going to be right there with him. And I'm right behind him, by the way. So anyway, Jack Jackson.
My pleasure, Michelle.
Oh, you're always
My
so
pleasure.
elegant. You're just such a good guy. Where do we want to begin with Jack Jackson?
Well, I was last here
2013.
13.
Yeah.
That's 5 years ago.
That's 5 years ago. You look identical.
Thank you.
I'm like, though, that's a great compliment.
You're too kind. Thank you.
No, you look wonderful. Look wonderful. So what are you going to bring me up to date? Give our viewers a little bit of background about who you are and what makes you so amazing.
Well, I don't know about the amazing part, but I feel that I've been blessed to have some experiences in life that have allowed me to speak with conviction about some very crucial aspects of life. At 75, I had time to reflect on my life and to take a hard look at what has happened since I finished college, got married, had children. And, time is relative. You don't always understand what's going to happen, and all too often, we don't have a plan. Most people do not have a plan. I guess because a lot of us were so consumed with survival that we just wanted to, or had to exist in the now, and didn't have the luxury of planning, strategizing, as a lot of folks have done. And I've come to conclude that that's been the demise of a lot of us.
Because
that
we didn't have the
have
chance
a plan.
to plan.
See,
But how would one know what that looks like, Jack?
well, not the alibi. I don't like those. I would never have used that as a crutch. But your environment many times dictates how you approach life, okay?
Okay. Now you're talking about as a
As
child?
a child,
Okay.
and I'll go right into this thing, as a young child, I saw very few black professionals around me. I knew a black doctor, a black school secretary, and I knew a black mailman.
Okay.
One.
One.
I knew one. I knew one black judge,
Okay.
Judge Russell Carter. But there was never enough folk around me to inspire me to the point of saying, I want to do that. And there was no one to, I had great parents, don't get me wrong, great parents, but they didn't finish high school. Both Southern born, and wouldn't know a college credit if you said hi to them, you know, and that's okay. They were great and loving parents, but my point being, there was never anyone to take me aside. I love history. I love the law, but there was no one to lay hands on me and say, you can do this, I believe, and then sort of create or put forth opportunities for people. See, that's the rub today, and always has been, the lack of opportunities.
Okay.
I've never been mad or angry at other folk, who achieve if you work hard. That has no boundaries, no
anything.
no color attached to it. No,
Right.
Be it racial, it's not a factor. But handcuff a lot of us has been the lack of opportunities. Okay, now.
And what do you attribute that to? Do you
That's
attribute it
because-
to discrimination?
In part.
Okay.
In part because we haven't had enough folk with the training, credentials, background, exposure to apply that to a gifted person that they recognize in their midst. I'll give you an example. I had a great nephew about 30 years ago
Okay.
who loved animals. He wasn't afraid of squirrels or rabbits like a lot of urban
Young kid. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Because you know.
And he
country
had an
people are.
aptitude for pets, animals.
Veterinarian.
Great. I had friends in Kentucky,
Okay.
a veterinarian, whom I told his story to. He said, Jack, this kid seems to have, let's bring him down to the clinic and stay for a week. Well, my aunt, God bless her heart, couldn't see that.
Okay.
Hour and a half from home, that's wow, that's outer space.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
could not convince her.
To let him go
Let
there.
that young man just go to the clinic, touch and feel animals,
Yes.
and let them determine if he indeed had an aptitude to do this kind
And
of
a
thing.
desire.
And
Yes.
desire. see?
Yes. Yes.
And once that's seen, once that is seen, then if the aptitude is there and the interest,
Then there you go.
therein lies a chance. Okay, in school now, you apply those science and math, you get guidance early on,
Yes.
and that was my example of how too many of us don't have the benefit of folk who are willing to assist you. There are far less opportunities.
Well, you know, it's interesting you bring that up because I too believe that today they call it under the title a mentor.
Yes.
And they say you need a mentor to help you because without that person and that wisdom, you will not have the vision
Right.
for your own life.
Yes. Mentors create vision. They inspire.
Have you been a mentor?
Oh, several times.
I thought so. I thought so.
love being a
Because I know
mentor.
one person you've been a mentor
Well,
to.
I love being a mentor.
Okay.
And because therein lies the opportunity for me to give back.
Yes.
And I found mentors in my life later on in college. Dr. Bill Burge, bless his soul, understood that with me as a freshman in college. And next to my father, he was perhaps the most beneficial, the greatest man in my life, because he made me see that I could be what I wanted to be.
Well, let's go back to that college situation, because you were very unique at that time. Oh no, take credit. Don't be shamed. You were very unique at that time. Do you mind recounting that?
No, I don't, Michelle. Back to this playing aspect. When I finished Dayton Roosevelt High School, Dayton Roosevelt, now closed.
Okay.
My mom and dad said, "Well, are you going to go to General Motors and get a job? Are you going to the military?" They didn't know anything else.
Right.
So I went to EKU.
That's
Kentucky State University.
Okay.
Eastern Kentucky.
Okay.
On a lark. I mean, I went down. I ran track. I'm a pretty good track athlete. Won the state in my year in Roosevelt.
Okay.
And I went down to Eastern Kentucky.
Okay.
And lo and behold, I got a scholarship.
Oh my goodness, that's great. And what?
So my path changed from GM and maybe a military career
to Eastern Kentucky.
Right. It's been a big piece of my life, and it was there that I got a chance to excel.
Okay.
A chance to flex.
Okay.
A chance, to fulfill myself. That's why I'm so high on EKU to this very day.
Okay.
But Bill Burge saw that I loved history, I loved the law, and he convinced me that I could do anything I wanted to do.
Now, Bill Burge, was he a professor there?
Professor Bill Burge, history department at EKU.
At EKU.
EKU. And,
white guy?
White guy.
Yeah.
White guy. I mean, mentors come in all colors.
Yes, they do.
Shapes
and sexes. And sexes.
Yeah. Another case, in grad school, I had a professor, God bless his heart too, who at one time was a grand dragon of the Ku Klux Klan. But for whatever reasons, he took a shine to this black guy named Jack Jackson.
Oh my goodness.
And chose to help me. I don't know, was perhaps hopeless about myself, perhaps, that drew him to me.
Right.
Or
and he just took to you. Were you in class or were you in?
We would talk after class and have conversations.
Yes.
And I grew like him too.
Okay.
That was in 1975 when I finished EKU. Austin Peay University.
Okay.
My master's. And I spoke commencement speech in 2002.
Did you?
At Austin Peay. And the same professor.
The same one.
Was back on a walker with his son.
To hear you.
Hear my speech.
Oh my words, that is wonderful.
He said, "Well, boy, you did all right." Well, see, in his world.
Right.
See, I grew to understand that man, okay? And I wasn't floored or demeaned by his way he talked. Not just him.
That was just his culture.
His culture. He still had a PhD. He was department chair, so it don't matter what what his path was like.
Yeah,
it didn't matter.
Didn't matter.
But that's why I say I've made a point not to categorize or typecast people.
Okay.
By their race, their gender. That's never been a problem for me. It's allowed me to get close to a lot of people and not be hampered by those non-merit factors.
Right. I like your term, non-merit factors.
Well, race, gender, ethnic background. What's that about? I mean, we've long since determined that doesn't make or break anyone.
Okay.
See, in most cases, Michelle, people choose to do good or otherwise. Now, I'm not naive.
I know
there are cases,
better than
where folk have issues, but at the end of the day, we pretty much call the shots in our lives. And I've embraced that part. And
well, I know you, when we look at your history growing up in Kentucky.
Yes, yeah.
And a coal mining.
Coalfield, Kentucky.
Oh my goodness.
Southeast Kentucky.
Yes, poor.
Yeah, all of that. Notwithstanding, if you have the desire and you have the will to commit
and
develop a why, that will withstand all of the negative stuff you'll encounter. If your why, WHY, exceeds any obstacle you might incur, you're on your way.
So why is it so hard for people to get there?
Well, I think that most people allow themselves to be trapped into some false reality.
False reality. I like that
yeah.
term.
Well, what
Okay.
happens here is, of course, our background to some extent determines your approach. Despite the lack of knowledge in my growing up years, I had loving parents. And
You had a father and a mother.
And my father was the very center of my universe. And my mom backed him up.
Okay.
And they always said, Daddy said like this, being poor does not say you can be bad.
Right,
Just because
right.
you don't have everything you want,
Right,
we
right.
would not tolerate you being misbehaved.
Right, right. You still have to be disciplined.
And we knew that. So with that in place, respect for law, respect for self, for others, all I needed was opportunity. See, I knew how to talk to people. I know people.
Okay.
Because Daddy taught me about people.
Isn't that something?
So when I encountered anybody, and I have met a lot of high-placed people, male, female, black, white, in between. But what my father instilled in all of us was a self-worth, a good self-worth.
Okay.
Not a false swagger.
But the real core. Yeah.
A real, that's not to say you don't have to break the door down in the room, but don't crawl in the room either.
Right.
You know, I mean, people don't like milquetoast or tyrants.
I like the way you said that.
Yeah, so
that's good. That's good.
That's been my approach. I try to be balanced when I meet people.
Okay. So how do you, when you say balance when you meet people,
Well,
you go into a gathering and you're the only African American. Not
Well,
uncommon.
No,
given-
it's been
not-
it's been my lot.
Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's been my lot throughout my life for the most part. So armed with this good self-worth.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're clear about who you
I'm
are.
already, that's understood.
Oh, you know. Yeah,
Okay.
that's understood.
So,
Uh-huh.
and I don't mean in a cocky
No, just
fashion.
confident. Yeah.
Confident.
Yeah, confident.
And in that confidence, I try to bring a balance.
Okay.
And I have very few predisposed ideas about folk. I mean, show me. I'll determine. But
What?
my first approach will be one that's even and measured and hopefully balanced.
Okay.
That's my approach. And it served me well. I tell a lot of my young people that I counsel with, you need to be on good terms with the CEO and the janitor.
Oh, I like it.
Know both.
No both.
Know both.
Uh-huh.
And know how to interface
With both.
with both.
Okay.
And that will sustain you. And also I want to say that exposure to, Michelle, is as important as education. A well-exposed person is less volatile,
Yeah.
less given to want to fight, less spring-wound, because I have seen enough from all kinds of people to give me an understanding of why folk are like they are.
Why are they like they are?
Background.
Oh, how they were
Background,
raised.
environment.
Okay.
If I can know a little bit about your background, your environment, I'm pretty on my way to understanding you. If I have an awareness of what you come from,
Right.
I've been blessed to have discernment enough to approach you, for the most part, on your own ground. I don't have a problem with me. I feel pretty good about me anyway.
Okay.
You know? So I don't mind being the butt of a joke.
Okay.
I don't mind taking the low road sometimes
Uh-huh.
because that does not define me. What I've done in my life, what I've done with people, what I've come through. That defines me. I don't have an axe to grind. I don't have
An attitude.
an attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have an attitude.
So you went through grad school. What did you do for a living?
Well, go back a little bit.
Okay.
I went to Clarksville, Tennessee.
Okay.
I was promoted to management at the train company.
Okay.
And I went down to Clarksville, Tennessee, 1972.
Wow.
So as my wife and I drove into town, we saw these feed and grain stores. We said, oh. So anyway, I got to train company, the first black there in management. And, but here again, I was able to meet and cultivate some good people.
Okay.
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 So
Because that's who you are.
That's what I do.
Yeah, that's what you do.
That's what I do. And I'm not. Everybody's not predisposed to doing that. I'm not saying that's always everybody's situation. But I made a point to know my people.
Okay.
To know my bosses, and to know the folks who work under me. Okay.
Okay.
And with that knowledge, my approach was often not offensive. Because I took time to know people
And to listen, probably.
To listen, yes.
Yeah.
That's always a good thing. Listen to what folks say.
Because they'll tell
Because
you.
if you show interest,
They'll tell you.
they'll tell you.
Yeah.
But you've got to show interest and a certain humility as well. Okay. Folk don't like being beat up.
Oh, nobody.
Nobody. So
Nobody.
I think the approach that one takes with other people is so important. And it's worked for me throughout my life. The military, grad school, undergrad.
You went to military?
Yes.
What branch?
U.S. Army.
You're an Army man.
Fort Myer, Virginia.
Ooh-wee.
Did my time at the Pentagon.
Okay.
I worked at the Pentagon.
You
Great
did.
experience.
Okay.
And I recall the D.C. culture,
Yes.
where I saw a very fluid black economy
Yes.
in D.C.
Yes, very much so. Was.
A hodgepodge of black professionals of Howard University,
Yes.
and the influx of black professionals. And I saw that firsthand, which to some degree influenced me as well.
Okay.
I have friends there that I met and retained
Okay.
throughout the
Good.
years.
Good.
Okay,
Good.
so-
Washington, D.C. was a rich, I did my graduate work there at American University.
Yes.
And it was a rich experience.
Yeah.
It was a rich experience. It was not politics as much as just a.
Well, that whole bastion.
That whole, it's just a lot.
That whole bastion there in the area, in D.C. area, American University,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
University of Maryland, College Park,
Yeah.
American U. It was a chance to see a broad cross section
Of people.
of and black in particular.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the Mordecai Johnson School
Yes.
of Medicine there on campus, I met black doctors.
Yes.
I met Alonzo Crawford, a buddy of mine who
Yes.
taught 40 years at Howard in cinema and drama.
Yes.
And my sphere of influence grew
Okay.
as a result of meeting those kind of people, and which only added to my repertoire and why I believe so firmly in networking.
Oh my goodness.
See, when folk
Talk to
network,
me
Michelle,
about that. Talk to me.
When we network,
Yes.
what happens is this. Everybody involved wins, because if we network in a circle, everyone gets a chance to expand their own spheres of influence.
Yes.
You know, if I
Yeah.
got 4 or 5 folks I'm talking with, I'm giving and they're giving. All 5 of them, I'm getting that stuff. I'm giving to one of the other 5, and we all grow.
Jack, I love networking.
It's
It
the
helped
key,
me to survive.
without question.
It did in business. It
we
helped me
lost
to
that
survive.
as a people. I'm going to just interject here. Our people,
Okay.
if you will.
Black people.
Black people, yeah, those people. All have a story to tell.
We do have a story.
Everybody in my age frame, and a little younger, maybe yourself as well, can recall when somebody up north who got up here,
Yep.
the migration way, would retch back, not reach, retch back.
And got other people.
And bring Aunt Susie, Uncle Ben. And what amazed me was this. When they brought folk back from down home, if you will, these people, they stayed in your house. You fed them.
Yes.
You clothed them until they got on their feet.
Right,
okay?
right.
But what I love about this thing is they maintain their dignity.
Right.
They never lost their dignity because they were being helped.
Right.
Okay?
And they knew that.
And we all
That's what we did.
Black families did that.
That's what we did.
We reached back and pulled folk up here, got jobs, and that's how we helped. But as I've said many times, I don't know how some folks take this, we paid a big price for integration.
Yes, we did. I think sometimes too big of a price,
all right,
Jack.
all
Okay?
right. Integration cost us.
Yeah, it did.
It cost us comradeship.
It did.
It cost us a cohesiveness, if you will, with each other.
Right.
We lost family
Yes, we did.
because we became fragmented.
Yes.
And
scattered.
Scattered.
Yeah.
And we made a couple dollars.
Yeah.
And we wanted to expand our horizons.
Yeah.
And that didn't mean bringing your family with you sometimes. So
exactly.
So much has happened. Black businesses that once flourished dried up.
Right.
Oh, they weren't big conglomerates.
Right.
They
but
were
still,
mom
it was
and pop
mom and pop,
that
wasn't
sustained
it? Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That dried up. The bigger GM became, the more we lost some comradeship. We made some money, okay.
Yeah.
I can't negate that. But the overall price, I think, if you stop and think about it, Michelle, was very costly
I think it
to
was.
us as a people. Just give us some thought
I think
now.
no, you don't have to convince me because I'm an economist and banker, and I have looked at the demographics. There's an awesome book that's out called The Road to Zero Wealth. It came out last year. If you haven't read it, please read it. But they did an analysis. They did and by the year 2000, I think, and 46 or 53, something like that, African Americans are going to be totally and completely zero wealth.
Yeah.
No money.
Yeah.
And a lot of it has to do with the fact that we traded out business ownership and taking care of our communities
Yes. Yeah.
to working for a GM or
Yes,
working for Ford.
Yes.
And
yes.
our monies went in another direction. They left out our communities.
It left the west side of Dayton.
Yeah, it did.
The money-
it left the
it-
west side of Cincinnati. It left the west side of everywhere.
And the 25 major metros. in
Yeah,
this
the
country,
money left.
The money left.
The money left. Now I even think about Detroit because all my
Yes.
family migrated
Yes.
to Detroit. The same way you said, one got up there, got a job, brought up other people. But I look at what they left behind.
Yes. In the wake of those so-called good jobs.
Good jobs.
Yeah.
You had a good and Jack, the legacy.
There you go.
The legacy. Because a job does not create wealth.
Right. That's true.
You can say it, but a job doesn't create wealth. A job creates income. Income. So you can pay your bill. But a job does not create legacy.
That's right.
Meaning, what do your children have to look forward to? You can't pass them on a business. You can't pass them on a black segregated school that taught black history. Okay, you can't teach them those things. So what did African Americans really gain? And we're at a crossroads with that right now, by the way.
We gained, I think, looking back on these years, Michelle, a temporary fix. Okay.
Yeah, but the fix is up.
Yeah, and we've seen that too because the so-called good jobs have dissipated.
Yeah.
The paradigms have changed, see?
Right. Well, let's talk about that. You say the paradigm has changed.
It's changed. I tell young blacks that I talk with from time to time now, the best game in town now is to get yourself educated
Yes.
and join the American mainstream. it's like we won't see the return of those mom and pop black businesses again.
Wow.
I challenge anyone.
That's a lot.
I'm not an economist, as you
I
are.
know, but still.
I look around and I talk to people. Their minds have changed. That business that granddaddy had, whatever it might be, a shoe shine shop or a restaurant, whatever, I mean, that no longer excites younger blacks.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it is. It's
I'm
reality.
not kidding you.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you as a truth. The gentleman that takes care of my shoes in Cincinnati.
Yes.
Very well. I mean, the man's been a shoe man. Now Neiman Marcus and Nordstrom, everybody use him now.
Yes.
But he's been doing my shoes since I was a young woman.
Yes.
He's the only person that's going to touch my shoes.
All right.
A holy man, a good man. But that man is not a broke man.
No.
But
he can't find
He can't find nobody.
He can't find anybody.
He had to bring. They did a story on him in the Cincinnati Enquirer, front page of him and a Syrian man, a man that came over as an immigrant that was willing to work for nothing to take care of his family. The man worked at a shoe factory in Syria, so he knew about shoes.
Brought that craft with him.
He brought the craft with him, and he hired him. And now he's the number 2. He can't keep people in his job, the people who work for him. Yeah. I told him, I'll work for you because you're making a ton of money on my feet. Yeah. I'll work for you. But my point is that he doesn't have anybody to leave his stuff to. And he's probably going to sell it to that man.
That happened in a reverse manner in Dayton. I won't call names here, but a white Russian immigrant owned a print shop.
Really?
Had 3 sons. Neither of the 3 men wanted to follow
do printing?
But had a black guy there who worked in the shop.
Yeah.
As time wore on, the white Russian immigrant sold the business
to the black man.
To the black man.
Oh my God! And so the black
who has been and was successful. So that's why I don't put stock in too much stock in this race piece. I'm not saying it's worthy of conversation, but not to waste time on.
Yeah,
because see that's
not going to make
that's counterproductive.
It's not going to pay your bills.
We have to first of all commit to something, and we have to have a plan, Michelle.
Yeah, we do.
We discussed that earlier.
We do.
We fall short because we don't have a plan in place. We haven't strategized, and we haven't taken a look at things. We have to develop a plan early on.
Okay. How early is early?
Early, it varies, I'm quite sure, but in early teens.
My goodness,
early
that
teens
young.
Yes.
So wait, Jack. So let's fast forward to where we are today, because where we are today is a little bit different than where we were when we were coming up. Okay. First thing, so many young people today do not have males in the house. These are white kids and black kids. They don't have men around to offer them and provide for them the sense of stability and discipline. That's what men bring, Jack. You bring stability and discipline, because you're not going to move like a female moves. Daddy may say no, but I'm going to say we think about it. And kids know that their daddies mean business. Don't push a button. Don't push a button.
That's right.
The sun has officially set on your head. But where do you say this begins, Jack?
Early teens, very, very early.
Okay,
teens.
so who helps them get to this?
In defense of young people today.
Okay.
Irrespective of race or gender or national origin, there are so many impediments.
It's a lot.
Today.
It's a lot going on.
The 2-parent home that you and I grew up on.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah. That's so awful.
It's reality. Now, we're competing with social media.
Okay. Yeah.
Everywhere I look,
Yeah.
whether it's Indian Hills or
Doesn't matter.
or,
Doesn't matter.
or
West
West
End.
Indianapolis,
Yeah.
I see kids doing this
All day.
all day long. Okay. Now, with that said, the church is no longer a factor in most young people's lives.
Ooh, you said it.
A good friend of mine,
Oh.
Pastor Morris Goggins, very fine pastor up in Dayton, at Newburgh
Okay.
Baptist Church, said that we're living in a godless generation. And that's hard.
So they have no
That's
moral.
no moral compass, no
Compass,
moral,
right.
no moral center. Whatever goes. They don't have boundaries,
Yeah.
guidelines to honor. Okay, so there are some real reasons why young people don't have the commitment to put forth or the vision to build upon. And we have to be creative. I was at a meeting last month in Dayton at Welcome Stadium about anti-bullying.
Okay.
I did not realize
Neither did I.
how pervasive,
It is
how real,
real.
bullies
Yes.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just getting to all this last year.
Yeah.
I was like, Jack, people like that, we usually, I'm not lying, we ganged up and beat them up.
Yeah.
No, that's what we did. Male and female, we all jumped on them and
on,
beat them.
on that bully.
On that bully.
Yeah.
It wasn't them
Well,
jumping on
again,
us.
that paradigm has changed.
Has changed. Is it that big of a problem?
It is. It is. I taught the grandparents raising children,
Yes.
which is not uncommon.
No.
Aunts.
Yeah.
Uncles raising kids. Okay, and I'm hearing stories, nightmares, horror stories about young people wanting to commit suicide. Stress-filled lives.
Young people.
Young people know hopeless. See no way out of their situations. Not enough folk around them to show real love.
Is that what it is?
Which I had. And
Okay.
I mean, because that was my insulation.
Right. Your home was safe.
I mean, that's sanctuary.
Yes, safe.
I don't care what it looked like
Right,
or
safe.
what it was. This was where I came. I was safe home.
Yes.
But today we have horror stories about young people being molested. Molestation is a big factor. And these situations transcend all levels of the social economic structure. Doesn't matter if you got money
yeah, your
or you
kids
have
are
privilege.
crackhead.
If you don't have some love to back up those trinkets that you give our young people, you got a chance to have a problem on your hands. We've got to get back, to some extent, this relationship with our young people to the point where they understand and truly believe that you care for them.
Well, it's funny. I have 2 grandchildren, one more coming now, but the 4-year-old is just a genius. For real, he's a genius. But he had done something that had so irritated me at the house because all his little Tonka trucks are there, and he
Underfoot.
and he did something, and he said, "Mimi, I know you're mad at me, but you love me." He did. He said,
you showed him.
He said, "You love me. I know you love me." And I looked at him and I said, "I do love you."
4 years old.
4 years old. He said, He said, "I know what I did was wrong." That's what he did, because he did something. I told him, "Oh no." He said, "But I know you love me." And he said it without any kind of presumption.
Yeah.
He just said it as,
flowed.
"But I know you love me."
It flowed from him.
It flowed. So, do whatever you got to do to me, because I still know you love me.
You spank me, I still know you love me.
You spank me, I still know you love me. And I think that's what you're
Well,
getting
we're in
at.
an era now, I think, dear, of creative parenting.
Okay.
We have to adjust. And this is not your grandmother's era.
No.
Not
No.
even your mother's era.
No, it is not.
This is a new game in town. And
What
we
is
as
the new
parents,
game?
The new game is all the stuff they're being bombarded with.
Oh, God.
The social media, the misbehaved adults, the
Thank you. Misbehaved adults.
the bad examples being set throughout our midst. And we've seen that.
Yeah.
We're living in that era right now, a bad example in grown-ups. That's why I say we must become more creative in our parenting.
So what do we need to bring to the table? More love, more
That's
unconditionality?
the baseline, love and caring. That has to be established first. Then you can employ these other facets of
Because I'll tell you, Jack,
of
my,
well-being.
my fear, and I don't like to confess fear because that's anti-God, but my fear is that we're losing so many of them.
Yes.
And I look at the, I mean, you know, you
Casualties, actually.
casualties of war.
Yeah, yeah.
They're not going to make it. I was in a grocery store, and I'm not the only person. I was an older man in his 80s that was there as well. And a little boy was in there, and he had done something to irritate his mother. His mother started cursing this child.
Yeah.
And we both, me and this man, looked at each other because we didn't know what to do. Do you tell her, don't stop, because then she gonna whack you? Or you're looking at the child, and the child, I could see what was happening to the child.
Yeah.
It was
It's heartbreaking.
It was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
You would do this in public,
Yeah.
and not that it's okay to do it behind closed doors, to
public?
curse at a child. But me and the gentleman just shook our head and said there was a time.
That was a time.
There was a time. And that's, so is that what you're alluding to?
Yeah, as you tell that story, I'm reminded of something happened to me many years ago. Well, not many, 10 years ago. That same thing happened in the grocery store.
Yes.
And I guess I must have looked too long
Oh, no.
at this mommy who was chastising
Yeah.
with this ugly talk. And I shook my head. And about 5 minutes later, another aisle over, she said, "It's none of your business." She told me, she said, she saw me looking at her bad behavior with this child.
Yes.
In
None
front
of your
She
business.
said, and she's none of your business. And she's right, it wasn't. But I can still be dismayed by it.
I can certainly express my
Yeah,
emotions. There's no
she said,
crime in
it's-
that.
It's not your business, she said.
Ah,
So we're confronted with all manner of impediments to child rearing today in this topsy-turvy world. They're so topsy-turvy.
yeah.
Right is. We've been convinced in many cases that right is wrong.
That is
Wrong is right.
that is insanity.
The paradigm has changed.
Yeah.
A person's word might not be as bond anymore.
Well,
that was a time when a person's word defined him or her.
And you didn't lie.
You didn't lie.
You did not lie. You didn't. I mean, the gentleman that was on before you, we talked about under oath, they lied.
This guy's an attorney, right?
Yeah. Craig Matthews is a very, very well-known attorney, and talk about they lie in deposition, they lie on the stand. I said, what about perjury? He's like, what about perjury? I'm like, oh, this is the law.
This is where we come to in society.
Yeah.
That's why I think now more than ever, we have to be willing and more committed to what was considered in my day and time obvious stuff. Today is not so obvious. Love to me was a given.
Yeah.
In rough times.
Yeah. It didn't matter.
But
you love.
now there's so many impediments that's confronting parents who want to do the right thing.
So where do you see all of this in your years? Your 75 years.
Oh, yeah.
I know you look good.
Oh, thank you.
Don't.
Thank you.
Not trying to offend you, Mrs. Jackson, but your husband look good.
Oh, boy, thank you. I mean, I've had a chance to see things unfold. To see how he came through the civil rights movement. When I see John Lewis,
Yes.
He embodies so
Such
much.
a strong man.
But he, despite his background, his exposure, what he's seen, what he brings to the table. He is being confronted with a monster, and I'm going to say, to back that up, I'll say, as I've seen this thing unfold the last 50 years,
Yes.
that I've had a chance to see my small part that I tried to play in terms of trying to make a difference
Right.
in my small quadrant of my life, you and other people
Yep.
who just won't stop. It's part of your,
I can't stop.
yeah, it's your opinion.
I can't stop
yeah,
that,
no, you
Jack.
can't. You're relevant. Thank God
I
for
can't.
you. You're viable, and I think that the changes that we've undergone. We brag about the low unemployment rate, under 4%, okay? And that's good. Right now, the economy is booming.
They say.
They say. With that said, we are in large measure without hope,
Ooh.
and that is scary, because we were very driven in the movement to acquire those tangible things, the voting rights,
Yes.
the right to buy a house where you want to,
Right.
the right to go to school where you want to go to
Right.
school.
The right not
No,
to be shot
Well,
at.
we're still fighting that
Yeah,
battle.
no, we are.
But so we've conquered so many things. But now the obstacles are more subtle.
Yeah.
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 You can buy a house in Indian Hills now
Yeah. If you want.
if you got the money.
Yeah. You like
Which
to
means
pay
you got to
the-
have the right job.
You're right.
So now is there an obstacle to getting a good job? It's changed because the obvious is not so obvious
Right.
anymore.
Well, that's what that book I was telling you about, Marching to Zero, where because of what we call structural racism, and the unemployment rate is low, but they didn't talk about the rise in the number of people that are not in the labor force. You can't do a rate analysis if people aren't in the labor force. You know what I'm saying?
These
That
numbers
number,
they don't
they
tell
don't tell the whole story. All the people that have just quit, they're not looking for a job. They're underground. They're doing everything.
Survival,
They're
yeah.
survival.
Yeah.
They're road rats. And so here we are. And no, you're not going to live in Indian Hill if you don't own a company. Let's just be blunt. You're not going to be living in Indian Hill in Cincinnati, Ohio, unless you have some money, a
That
whole
gap
lot
that
of
I
money.
saw that we've all seen that's lasted the last 50 years, that gap is widening.
It is.
As you know, between the have and the have-nots.
Yes.
Progress is being made, money is being made, but the gap has remained like it was or widened.
Yeah, I say widened.
So I can't get real excited about the so-called progress
Right.
if the folk involved are not progressing within their own ranks, okay?
Right, right.
This gap, now, when the gap closes, we're making progress there. But we're not making enough progress
No.
for it to be of any significance.
And the thing that so deeply offends me, Jack, is that truth, when you die, when God says time up next, you can't take any of that money with you, zero. The second thing is, how much money can you spend? How many cars can you get? How many houses? How many islands? How much stuff
Is enough.
is enough? When you look at an entire population of people who are not only African American and Chinese American, but increasingly white Americans who have zippo, nothing, period. And you say, oh, it doesn't affect me. And I say to myself, publicly even, you know, the French said that before the French Revolution. Oh yeah, let them eat cake. The Russian oligarchy said that before Lenin and Stalin. And you cannot strangle your people.
No.
You cannot strangle your people.
After a while, you're going to have chaos.
You're going to have that's what history.
That's what we're coming to.
Yeah.
And see, poverty doesn't know color.
It does not know
It
color.
doesn't know background.
Yeah.
Poverty is poverty.
Yeah.
And
this is what I tell my white friends, which is, surely you cannot believe you've arrived.
Until we all arrive.
That's not the way it works in a democratic process. We all desire the best for our children, our families. We want to live in decent housing. We want these things.
We're going to come to a tipping point in this country.
Well, I think we're headed that way. I don't want to end on a bad note,
but we're coming to a tipping point where that widening gap is creating a lot of ill feelings.
Yes, it is.
A lot of hopelessness.
Yes.
And when too much sets in, hopelessness, when too much sets in, and folk have no hope, nothing to live for,
right,
that's when they don't mind dying.
Well, you know that, having been in the military and served in what I call the toughest part of the military is the Army.
Well,
Hoo-wee! Oh no, my daughter's in the Air Force, and as I told her, you can drop bombs, but to clear the way for the ground people, because the ground has to be taken.
We tell folks a lot of times, military piece, Michelle, irrespective of what you do in the Army, whether you're a clerk typist, or a cook, or an MP, you were trained to shoot a gun.
Oh.
When you're drafted, or when you when you're drafted, or when you really
bang bang. I know it's okay.
When you join the Army, whether you are a clerk typist, or an MP, or a chaplain, your initial training
includes
you come there to shoot and be a soldier.
Yeah.
It takes other folk, in the background to do that, which I was one, and glad of it. I missed Vietnam because I had friends who went and didn't come back.
Yeah, me too.
But seriously, the Army is that defense on the ground.
Yeah, so, boots on the ground. Yeah. I pray, Jack, that as a people who came over here with nothing, as I said, we look at Africans that came over here as slaves. We look at Europeans that were considered garbage. The Irish were treated like dogs. We look at the Germans who were hated. The Catholics who were, we look at a polyglot of people that came over here as rugrats. And there's an adage that says that many times the people that were treated the worst turn out to be worse than their masters. And I remind people of this, please don't make that the truth. Don't be worse than the Europeans that tried to get rid of you over there.
I see.
You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, yes.
Don't be worse than the English that tried to get rid of the people that are in Appalachia. They sent them over here. From the Browder clan. They didn't want them over there. They like, get on a Queen Victoria said, you don't even have to pay your fare.
We'll send you.
We'll send you. Put you in the mountains and hope you die. This is our story, and it's a true story. It's a story of a lot of pain.
Yes.
But we have got to do better.
As a people.
As a people.
As a total people.
As a total people, we have got to do better. And I wanted you on today because I respect and admire you. I know your background, I know what you've done in terms of accomplishments, and I just wanted to get your take from the vantage point of an elder, man who can look and see where we were and what you saw. And I appreciate your time today. I do. Do you want to give your phone number out, or would you?
Yeah, they have it here.
No, well, you can put it on air.
Okay, I can be reached at 937-837-8422 at my home. My cell is 397-1091, also 937.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
I appreciate
Good to see you
you.
again, too.
I love you.
Good. God bless.
And to those of you that have watched this amazing segment, may you give our conversation consideration and thought. I don't care where you are on the color spectrum, white, black. I don't care what your sex is, male, female, in between. I don't care. But what I do deeply care about is our country and the principles and the precepts that have guided us over the years. We've been through tough times, but I'm here to tell you now, we will never stand unless we stand together.
Amen.
That is a fact. So on closing out today's segment of The Power of Money with Michelle Graves, I send you love, I send you peace, and I send you hope. Take care. Bye-bye.